Hey guys, how's it going? It's Andy from MagooInvesting. Welcome back to the Robinhood Top Stocks series. Today we're going to be talking about Intel, ticker symbol INTC. And so before I get started, I got to say that this is pre-recorded on Monday, so the stock prices that are shown in this video are not exactly up to date, so any discrepancies you see there, that's the reason why. So Intel is the larger of the chip stocks that we've talked about so far. We've mentioned MU in a specific video, and then I also talked about AMD as something that when you look at a sector, I think it's really important to look at competitors to see if you can find a better deal. And so in this case, Intel is the largest of the three between Intel, Micron, and AMD. And so currently where the stock is sitting right now, it's sitting pretty close to its 52-week highs. And as I've talked about in this video or in this channel a lot, is that I do not like buying next to 52-week highs. Most of the time that high acts as a resistance and the stock takes a couple times for it to push through that and reach new highs. So as a result, when I first looked at the charts, I was kind of hesitant to give a bullish review of it, just based off the fact that, you know, when you buy next to a resistance, there's the risk involved in that. But when looking at kind of how well it's done recently, how well it's sitting in the market, and kind of just the overall direction of the stock, I think it's actually in a better spot than I originally thought. And before we head on to the computer and talk about where I see the stock potentially going in the next year, and before we get started, I gotta say that I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so I'd highly recommend talking to a professional. Someone can find you the best places for your money going forward. And with that being said, let's hop on the computer and talk about Intel, ticker symbol INTC. So here we are looking at Intel today, up almost 2% on the day, which is pretty nice. 42% hold and 43,000 people owning the stock, so that's pretty solid. 1 week has been pretty even. 1 month is up 4%. 3 months is up almost 30%, which is great. 1 year is 24%, and 5 years is 64%. So pretty solid returns. Kind of surprising that Home Depot has had better returns in the past 5 years than Intel, but has a dividend yield of 2.57, which is solid. I'm going to talk about this news right here because this is why I'm talking about it today, because I thought this was really interesting. Starting to get into options, and here's the news that a option trader dumped $1.3 million in calls. So if we come down here, sometime today, someone sold 3,543 call options with a strike in January 21. And so this is a bearish bet worth 1.3 million. So that's pretty unusual volume, which is mainly the reason why this article came out. It's because unusual volume. And then immediately after that, or at the same time, people bought calls for a smaller investment, but still noteworthy. So people have some strong opinions about where Intel could be going. So let's go take a look at the chart. And I drew out some of the zones that were intriguing to me. This one right here was recently tested and then bounced out of, so that looks solid. And now we get to a very interesting point where it goes towards its 52-week high, and it's very close to that zone. And so I'm going to set an alert for the break above that because I've talked about this a lot. 52-week highs often act as a solid resistance, and if it can prove to me that it can break through that, retest the zone, and then push higher, that's a very good sign overall. Another thing is we have a low, a higher low, and it keeps going up. So I really like that overall. When we go and look at the longer term chart, you can see that things have been pretty horizontal for a while. This last attempt to get higher was in June of 2018, and since then it's been pretty horizontal. For a swing trader, this is pretty attractive. Unfortunately, it's on the upper end. If it comes back, I'll set an alert down here. Who knows if it'll ever go off, but this nice little horizontal pattern, it's very attractive for swing traders because it's very easy to see where to cut losses and where to take a position, but I doubt it'll go and touch that ever again. So what we're looking for here is how the stock has fared in the past. You can see there's been times of a lot of horizontal and then a push up, and here we have kind of horizontal and then a push up. So it seems like the stock tends to consolidate for a year or two and then push higher. And it's possible that we're getting to the point where it's been horizontal for almost 2 years now, and it's possible it could push higher. One of the things I always talk about is always looking at competitors. So let's take a look at AMD. AMD for a swing trade, not attractive. As you can see, it is in the stratosphere. It's been pushing very high, had a little pullback, it's now going potentially higher. That could be slightly attractive, but I think a more attractive long-term trade would be Micron. And so when we go and look at this, you can see the solid downturn, and then it pushed out of that. It kind of reminds me of the Tesla stock. I'm pretty sure I talked about that in the Micron video. But it's starting to push higher, and so you have more room to go until the all-time high compared to something like AMD or Intel. For a long-term trade, I don't like it as much just based off of this crazy slide that it had. So overall, for a swing trade, I like MU slightly more, but for a long-term trade, I think that Intel is a good one. I don't think that it's going to break through right here, but in a couple years, I expect a position taken right now in Intel to be pretty profitable, just based off of it being the largest one in its sector that we've talked about, and based off of what the charts, it looks like it's very possible that it might push above this resistance and go higher, but that's just something to watch. So overall, I think Intel is a very nice company for people that are looking for a reliable long-term trade. Based off the fact that it's sitting around its 52-week high, not super attractive for a swing trade. But for someone that's willing to hold for 6 months, a year, or even longer, I think Intel will definitely be reaching new highs by that time. If I was looking for a swing trade in a chip stock, AMD is also sitting next to a 52-week high, so that's kind of out of the question. MU, Micron Technology, is one of those stocks that I would look at if I'm looking to have a more profitable swing trade. Currently, the swing trades for AMD and Intel are kind of risky, as I've mentioned, and MU may be a better option for that. But for a long-term investment, I think that Intel is the best of the three options, as it has the highest market cap. It's had very nice returns in the past couple years, and it has a nice dividend to go along with it. So I think that overall, long-term investment-wise, Intel is a great bet. So let me know what you think about Intel overall. Is it as good of a long-term investment as I potentially see it being, or is it kind of reaching the upper ends of where it could possibly be going? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if there's a company or idea you'd like me to go over in a future video, please leave it down there as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys on Friday with the next video. Thanks for watching.